Hi, today we're going to be talking about asparagus, and my wonderful husband is my videographer today because I needed two hands to do this. And my girls are out here today, Rosie and Gracie. They're sniffing around looking for mice and any other critters that might be back here. But they're checking out the raspberry bushes right now and just checking out the garden. So as you can see, this is the asparagus bed. And the way we're going to be cutting this is, I'm going to just do the cutting at first, and that way my husband can go back and do whatever he was going to be doing earlier. But I planted this asparagus bed a couple of years ago. It wasn't a 6-foot bed and it outgrew it. So therefore I needed more space for it, and as it matures and grows, it just spreads out. Small plants that I put over here are now developing plants over here. Certain ones that I've planted are just sending off shoots, and I'm getting some new growth. A wonderful asparagus bed can last up to 15 years. So you want to make sure you plant it somewhere where it's going to be undisturbed for about 15. In some climates it can last up to 20 years, but in upstate New York where we are, it's 15. So the way we just cut it, I have a beautiful knife, horticulture knife that my son gave me. And so you just cut off the asparagus. You can eat it raw if you want, but I wait until it gets a good size. And to keep it stored so you can keep it fresh, I put it in a container of water in the fridge until I'm ready to use it. And this is a beautiful little tool. It's a Japanese horticulture knife, and it shows inches for planting. It has a serrated edge on one side and a sharp edge on the other, which makes it very nice for cutting these vegetables. So there's another one over here, and I can just bring that one right down. There we go. We'll bring that one in. There we go. Whoop. Just dump the water. That's okay. It'll water the plants over there. So I know the puppies are being a little active, and I can take over the phone from here and discuss our soil, and so we can discuss the soil. The way we plant the asparagus is it comes in crowns, is what each asparagus plant is called. Each crown looks like a sea urchin, basically. So it has fronds on it, it has the little tendrils on the bottom, which are your roots. Kind of spread those out as you're planting them into the soil. Make sure your soil has a large amount of compost in it, some organic material, as well as some peat moss, some good drainage material as well, which is our perlite or something similar to it, to help keep the soil nice and loose as well and aerated. I fertilize my asparagus every fall. You can plant it either in the spring or in the fall. I planted mine originally in the spring and didn't get a harvest till 2 years later. So therefore, plan on not getting something for the first year or so, and then after that you get some beautiful results. We have a beautiful purple. I have purple and green. So there's my purple and there's my green asparagus. I love a nice variety of color. Always taught my children to eat a rainbow of colors every week. So this one I killed 2 for 1 in one serving. I get purple and green with the asparagus. Wonderful things I like to make with my asparagus, besides just cooking it or grilling it, is an asparagus risotto, which, oh my God, it's so delicious. So that's the way I usually plant my bed. As you can see, I have some green onions growing around the outside of it that I've been harvesting and doing really well with. So over here is where I've harvested them. And these work out really well for harvesting and for just growing real easily in the garden. So as you plant them in the summer, some of my older plants right over here are going to sprout a nice little stem that has all these little bulbs that will come off the top. And all you have to do with these little guys is just separate them. All you do is separate them, tuck them in the ground, and you end up with some beautiful green onions. I harvested a whole bunch. They kind of dried out a little bit this week, and it works out really good as I've been making a beautiful sausage, kale, and potato soup. And so you just separate them and you have beautiful green onions. that you can chop up and freeze. I use some of the greens and eggs when you're cooking them in the morning. But it's a great little, so quick, doesn't take up much space, easy to harvest, doesn't take up much space. I just throw it around the edge of a garden. It shares the garden with the asparagus at this point, but I've been pulling them out, cleaning this one out so I can plant some new ones. So it works out very nicely when you grab them right out of the soil. And it's just a fabulous addition to the garden. Again, remember your asparagus, put it in a location that will be undisturbed. It grows very tall after you do the harvest and you let some of the plants go to full size and then to seed. They get very large. They get about 5 feet tall and very fern-like. They get very tall fronds on them. As you can see, I have this green fence that's around it, and that helps keep some of those fronds inside. Otherwise, they start leaning over and they start getting into the area where my next garden bed is. And these are 12 feet by 4 feet. I make them all out of cedar. I've been working on putting my preservative on, my tung oil on the outside of them. That's my little spring job every year, is to make sure that they're all tung oiled and preserved. But you want to make sure you kind of keep your asparagus kind of controlled, otherwise it's going to be leaning over. You'll be leaning over towards your other garden. And I have like raspberries on this side. I have my garden bed here, a garden bed there, and another one here. So you want to keep it controlled, otherwise you're going to be totally out of control. And the fronds have like little thorns on it as well, so they'll end up attacking you as the summer goes on. And they do, like I said, get very large. And then they have seeds. Seeds will start flying. You'll end up with seeds in different areas of your garden. You'll have little asparagus plants growing, in which case I take them out and replant them. And just to give you an idea of that, this is a nice little baby asparagus plant. And you can see that it gets like those little fern things, but this is a little guy. So the next one, after they all go to seed, will all be really tall and about 5 feet tall. In the fall, you want to cut them back, and you can see this is a plant that was cut back. You can see a little baby one coming up over there, a new asparagus spear. But these will all, I cut them back, and then in the spring I can just snap them right out. For the most part, they just snap right out. And that way you knew where your plant was from last year, but then we have it all nice and neat this year. And like you can see, a new spear coming up. So I hope that's helpful with planning and planting your asparagus bed. When you're planting them, as you can see, these are in a straight row. I did a furrow when I planted the crowns, and even though I planted the crowns in a straight row, they will start spreading out, which is fabulous, and that's what you want them to be filling in. This was a plant that was over here, and we're getting new spears and plants here and over there. So it's really beneficial. Create your row, plant your crowns, spread out those tendrils, those little roots. Keep the stem part, obviously, stem side up. You want that to be hitting the sun. And then just put a lot of organic material in, and you will have beautiful, delicious asparagus for many years to come. And like I said, put it in a container of water in the refrigerator until you have enough for a meal that you plan on doing, especially if you don't get a lot at one time. Obviously, we're going to have enough for a meal, but I just wanted to show you that you can just put it in a container of water and wait until the next time. Hope this was helpful. Look forward to chatting with you again. Let's grow together and eat healthy. Thanks so much. Enjoy your asparagus. Bye-bye.